Hello. Hope everybody's enjoying their day today. It was a great day today. I had a great day off yesterday. Relaxed once again, did nothing at all. Turned my phone off. I don't answer those text messages. I don't answer no snaps. I don't answer nothing but talk to nobody. Went out, got me some good food yesterday. That's the only thing that I did. Really enjoyed it my day. Actually, what did I eat? Oh, I went to IHOP. I really had a taste for pancakes, so I went to IHOP, got me some pancakes, and that sirloin little mix with the onions and stuff like that. But the sirloin is really good, so I went and mashed that yesterday. Basically, February started off great with a bang. I decided not do anything at all on Wednesdays, but use that as a day off too to just kind of get caught up house stuff because I can't do any house stuff on my Sabbath. So to be able to do house stuff and all that, I decided to not really work, just kind of get stuff together for the rest of the week on Wednesday, do little things that write a list, stuff like that. Make it happen. So I'm having another successful weekend. Decided to do something different because it's Black History Month. So what I want to do, instead of really spending a lot of time spotlighting myself and what I've been doing, I'm going to spotlight some people that I think deserve a mention in history, right? And normally Black History Month, we teach our children about Dr. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Harriet Tubman. We get some Marcus Garveys, then we get the Jackie Robinsons, the Jesse Owens, but we miss out on a lot of our our people in history that has really overcome a lot of obstacles, right, to be successful, right? We've kind of focused on the people that, their successes has been measured in different ways. Because I'm a business owner and I believe in business, what I want to do for the month of February is highlight successful business people in history, right? So the person I'm going to highlight today is actually a man named Henry Boyd. And the reason why Henry Boyd impressed me is because Henry Boyd was a slave. And because I always talk about employee is slavery and stuff, employees are slaves and stuff like that, this was really a special moment in history that I wanted to present to you because it can show you how you can, when I say slavery now, it's not slavery like enchained in slavery. It's more of a mental slavery because you're following a format that continues to do the same things over and over again without allowing you to be successful in your own right? Henry was an actual slave. Henry was born in Kentucky, an actual enslaved chain, and he bought his way to freedom, right? And to become a successful entrepreneur. So I'm going to read a little bit of Henry's story today. So Henry was born on a Kentucky plantation as a slave in 1802. For the first 18 years of his life, he would remain a slave. Boyd was an apprentice out to a cabinet maker. He had tremendous talent for carpentry. His woodworking skills and his strong work ethic combined to provide a path out of slavery and poverty. And that's important. He said strong work ethic, right? And skills. So that means if you're willing to go out there and get it, you got a strong work ethic and you have a skill, you don't have to be a slave even during the time of slavery, right? So Boyd was permitted to accept additional work assignments to earn his freedom. For example, he worked for a salt works company, chopping wood and keeping an eye on the boiling pots, reducing the salt. Boyd eventually made enough to gain his freedom. So not only did he work for his master, right? But slaves have free time, and a lot of people don't know, except the really, really harsh slave masters, right? most slaves had free time, either at night, stuff like that, in the evenings. They had that free time where they was allowed to do what they needed to do after their main work was done, right? So what Boyd was permitted to do was take on additional work and get paid for it. And he took that money that he was getting and he bought himself into freedom, right? So he gained his freedom. So at 24 years old in 1826, Boyd arrived in Cincinnati, a free man. Although Ohio was a free state, Cincinnati bordered the slave state of Kentucky and was not a welcoming city for blacks. So Boyd found out this firsthand, arriving nearly broke. The skilled carpenter set about finding a means to support himself. Although Cincinnati was a bustling place full of opportunities for employment, no one would hire him for a skilled position. One shop that considered hiring him backed down when its white workers threatened to quit. So that's how hard it was back then, right? You couldn't even get a skilled job because of the color of your skin, right? If you even got considered to be hired because of the color of your skin, other workers was quit. So that kept you from getting a job. Not like now where they give credits to companies for hiring people of color, right? Because I got to understand that. When you say it's no jobs, no employments out there, companies get credits for hiring people of color, right? So there's no reason why you can't earn an income. There's no reason why you have to live off the system unless you're disabled. When I say disabled, I mean physically disabled, right? Because I know people with autism that have regular jobs. So, to make ends meet, Boyd found work on the Cincinnati's riverfront. Many African Americans and Irish found employment there, working for stores as stevedores, unloading cargo from the many steamboats at the city public landing. And I'm glad they put Irish in there, because I found out the other day when I was reading that Irish was like almost like black, right? Even though the Irish don't really like us today, because they compared us to them back in the days. They was like the niggas that they would call them, right? His hard work and commitment enabled him to escape his back-breaking work, and Boyd became a janitor at the store. So he worked even harder at the store that he was in, right? To move his way up from where he was at. Because he said, look, I really don't want to do this hard work. I want to do something a little different. I want to work smart. So he got promoted to janitor, right? One day when a white carpenter showed up too drunk to work, Boyd built a counter for the storekeeper. This impressed his boss so much that he contracted him for other construction projects. Through word of mouth, Boyd's talent began to break down the racism he originally encountered and enabled him to pick up more contracting jobs working alongside white carpenters, right? So a lot of people like to blame things on luck. There's no such thing as luck, right? It's when preparation meets opportunity. See, Boyd was prepared. He was a skilled, he knew carpentry, right? So he was just waiting for an opportunity, right? To show what he had been preparing for, to show what he was prepared to do. And he did it. And then, so no matter when, like previously, when workers were ready to quit if they let him hire, he broke down racial barriers because of his skill. Because he was so good at his craft, he was able to break down those racial barriers. And that's what I like. I like to think that I do the same thing every week, because I go places where racism, you expect people to be racist. You expect people not to accept you. But yet these people, because of the person you are and the skill that you have, like my skill as a salesman, I'm skilled as a salesman. So I know how to treat every person in a manner where they bring me in, right? They bring me into themselves because I create that atmosphere, that dynamic like Henry Boyd, right? So with the money earned from his store job and the side carpentry products, he was able to put money aside for something special, right? So he was saving his money up, right? And it wasn't to further his career or make his life more comfortable in Queen City, right? It was to purchase the freedom of a brother and a sister. So he took the money that he earned to help purchase the freedom for two other people. Now think about it like this, and that's what impressed me a lot about Henry Boyd, right? Because when I spend my money on advertising and stuff like that to try to get people in the business, to show them how to get in the business, it's not so much that I make money, because I make money by default. The way I make money, because I don't put a lot of fees onto stuff like most people you see out of there. I don't put a lot of extra on it, right? What I want you to do is to get in the business. And if I can make $1 off of you, every product you sell, I can make $1. If you sell 10 products, I make $10, right? And you say, well, what's $10 going to do for you? You make it, you profiting X amount of dollars. So let's say you go sell 100 units, right, of product. I sell you 100 units. I wholesale you 100 units of product. And instead of marking it up ridiculously high, $5, $10, $15, right, so I can make a whole bunch of money, I don't do that. Let's say I just make it up $1 is what I do for a lot of for my customers, right? You sell 100 units, I'll make $100. And you're like, well, $100 ain't really a lot, but if I got 10 people that I'm doing that to, I'm making $1,000. Think about it. So he was able to purchase the freedom for a brother and sister. Henry Boyd accumulated enough money to purchase his own workshop for woodworking. His workshop soon grew to encompass 4 buildings, located at the corner of 8th and Broadway in Cincinnati. Here, Boyd would build and assemble build frames of his own design, the Boyd bedstead. This was an improvement over existing bed frames of the day. The Boyd bedstead utilized the right and left wood screw process with swelled rails, making for a sturdier fit to endure more stress. This revolutionary new design was developed by Boyd. He was unable to obtain a patent for it due to the color of his skin, right? But this is the kicker. Henry was smart. What he did in 1833, George Porter, a cabinet maker, was issued a patent for the technology used in Boyd's beds. It is not known if Boyd was of assistance in getting this done. Personally, I think Boyd got somebody, a white guy, to get this patented and kind of fixed him in a little, got George Porter to go in and do it, and to keep other people from being able to use this technology, but it still allowed him to be able to do it. Because not only was the bedstead breaking new ground, so were Boyd's work practices. Employing 20 to 50 people at any given time, he operated an integrated workplace. So not only did he hire blacks, but he also hired whites. Now remember, this was a slave. This man was actually physically enchained as a slave, worked his way out of slavery, got a job, worked at that job, was so good at it, he was able to start his own business. And because he hired that business, he was able to overcome racial tensions and hire white people. This was in the 1800s, people. We in 2020 still talking about we need freedom, right? But Boyd was creating his own freedom. See, when you're a business owner, you don't have to go to somebody else for freedom. You create your own freedom. So, throughout the years of the Civil War, right, Boyd had been active in the Underground Railroad as a conductor. Well known in abolitionist circles, Boyd would house runaway slaves in an alleged secret room he had built that could shelter up to 5 people. So active was Boyd in the Underground Railroad that many others of the time, such as abolitionist Huntington Lyman, thought Boyd's home was the first stop once across the Ohio River and not the home of Levi Coughlin. His home was welcoming to the needy as well. It is said he took care of a man of over 100 years of age who had been left at the riverfront to die. So, because of his success, right, because he was an owner, he was able to help others. See, as an employee, as a slave, you really can't help others because you tied to your master. By the time you get done doing what you've done, you don't have it, or you don't have the resources to be able to help others because you're a slave. That's why the ticket to freedom is ownership. When you own your freedom, when you own your ticket to freedom, you can help others become free. So Boyd had acquired enough wealth to live out his retirement comfortably at his new street address. His successful business venture with the Boyd Bedstead would not be his only operation he ran successfully. So because of that business, he had even other businesses. On March 1st, 1886, Henry Boyd passed away at the age of 83. So he went from a slave to an owner. 18 years as a slave. And then he worked his way out of slavery. See, that's what you're supposed to do. That's the key. Right? The ticket is to learn. Excuse me. That's why when you're in school, you work a 9-to-5 job. You know, you go to you after school, you work a 9-to-5 job, but you're supposed to be acquiring skills. That's why I'm not a fan of college, because college doesn't really set you up for the skill unless you're in a trade, right? It doesn't really set you up for skills to be successful. What can you do with an art degree? You go to school, spend $30,000 on a political science degree, and then what? You working at Kohl's. I see it all the time. I talk to people all the time. They got master degrees, bachelor's degrees, and they working in a department store. Right? Skills, plumbing, electrician, mechanic, technicians, skills that you can actually use to create your own business. If you know how to fix a car, you should have your own business. If you know plumbing, if you know how to fix pipes and fit pipes and stuff like that, you should have your own business. If you know how to come in and install a ceiling fan or install a new plug, a new socket, install a doorbell, anything, you should have your own business. I see people at Christmas time putting up lights. That's a hustle. That's their own business. If you charge $1,000 to put up somebody's lights and you put up 20 homes, that's $20,000. Some people have to work all year for $20,000. Right? So ownership is the key. So I'm going to be doing stuff like this all month. I'm going to be teaching you about Black history through business. And I'm going to be looking for people like Henry Boyd, people that was in a worse position than you are, that took that position they was in and flipped it. Because you got to want it. Nobody is going to give you anything. If you're waiting for somebody to hand out something to you, you're going to be waiting. You're a slave. You have a slave mentality. The only way to be successful is to go get it. The only way to be successful is to say, I don't want this for myself. I want this for myself. But if you accept the handouts and that's all you want, then don't expect something different. Don't cry. Don't whine when things don't go your way. Because I was, like I said, the beginning of the year, I was 3 months behind on my car payments and my mortgage. I'm even. It's been 30 days. Within 30 days, I made myself even. Right? You can't do that at a regular 9-to-5. I don't care where you work. I see lawyers in debt, doctors in debt, dentists in debt, nurses in debt. People that's got degrees in debt. Skills help you become an owner. Mark Zuckerberg, he was a salesman. He wasn't technical. He was a salesman. He had skills. Find out your skill. If you don't know it, message me. I help you find out. That's what I help people do, turn their passions into profit. Get up. Start learning something. Try to do something different and see how it works out for you. I'll be here tomorrow.